It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, K-Man. Happy Thursday. How's everyone doing? This is Friday, part 1. The week is just flying by. That's all I can tell you. We got a full show scheduled for you today. Lots of good information coming your way. I see one of our guests, but I think we're waiting on a few more people. So we're going to give them a few more minutes to jump in. Meantime, we will do some admin work in the background so that we can get all the links ready for those of you who are following our social media channels. In particular, the WhatsApp channel is the easiest way. I know some people are still like, I don't know how to find you on Facebook some days. I know Facebook can be very, very temperamental, but don't worry, we've got you covered. Just need you to go ahead and follow the channel, and we'll ensure that you get all the details daily. So I'm going to just do that now, refresh it for you. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to give a big shout out to all of the amazing people who are constantly doing things in the background to ensure that, sometimes, most times, quite silently, to ensure that people are getting the help that they need. And I want to do a special thanks this morning to Dr. Benoit, who is always there and always willing to help people in the community, more than you guys will ever know. I don't want to go into any details, but had someone reach out that needed some assistance, and I can tell you, he never says no to me. So I really appreciate him just giving back, in the way in which he does so incredibly silently. And people, it really changes people's lives. And yesterday, this particular situation actually brought a lady to tears, to literal tears. So you guys will never know how much some people actually do, and they don't need any accolades or thanks for it, but I just wanted to acknowledge that this morning. And anybody else who also is just silently working behind the scenes, doing amazing things for people. All right, so good morning. Let's see who's in class early today. We've got Damaris. Thank you so much for joining us. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to send out the link as promised. Some big headline stories since we last spoke yesterday that no doubt we need to catch up on. And if we have time permitting, a little bit later on this afternoon, or this morning, I should say, we can certainly get to those. I see hold on a second. Before Lady T messages me about that date, let me try to force this thing to update properly, because I did correct the date for today's show, but I see that it is still putting the wrong date on there. Hold on 1 second. Takes us a couple minutes sometimes to kind of populate the right date. Nope, still doing the wrong date. Okay, all right, that's fine. Coach France, who else is joining you? I know we're expecting about 2 or 3 other people. Give me a thumbs up if you're still waiting on them. All right, so we'll just give them a few more. And let me just see here. Right, so we're gonna just a couple headlines this morning. First of all, I know a lot of you have seen this story about this little 6-year-old Riley who is looking for some assistance so that he can get life-saving surgery. And please, if you can assist that family in any way, we'd ask you to reach out. Sometimes it doesn't take, a whole lot. It's just a little bit. And if you have, it's the multiplier effect, as I say, where a lot of people contribute a little bit, and it really makes a significant difference in the lives of, the people in this community. So if you're able to help that family, the details are in the story and how you can do so. Please dig deep and see what you can do. Good morning, Shaka Zulu says, good morning, Auntie Sandy and the CMR TV fam. Thank you so much. How are you? Patricia Blake also joining us nice and early this morning. Our usual suspects. Good morning to Miss Emma. Damian Henry is here with us as well. Miss Lucille joining us all the way from the UK. Good morning to Miss Lucille. I saw your messages, Miss Lucille, and I think I responded to them. So sometimes you guys message me, and can someone please make sure that Mr. Amelia gets the memo? Do not send Auntie Sandy an almost 9-minute voice note, because the chances of me being able to listen to that are slim to none. That's a weekend vibe. That's when I'm sitting in the rocking chair on Sunday, which I'm not. That was a joke. But if I was sitting in a rocking chair on Sunday with nothing else to do, Mr. Amelia, I'd be listening to a 9-minute voice note. I'll listen to the first couple minutes and get the gist of it, and then I won't listen to any more. So I'm just telling you the cold hard truth. It's best you not send such long voice notes and then expect me to read it or listen to it immediately. Yeah, that's not very realistic. I'm just saying. Miss Stephanie Brooks in the house. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Good morning to Irvelyn. Barbara is here with us. Thank you, Miss Barbara. Abby in the house. Island Pearl is also here. These are all the usual people in class every single morning. So good to see you guys. Where's Cameron? I see Cameron is back on social media. We had missed Cameron because, boy, Cameron can carry a whole conversation all by himself on a social media post. It makes me chuckle. Oftentimes, nobody else is commenting, and Cameron is there, like, commenting 5 times. I'm like, you go, Cameron. It's like Cameron has a thought, and he's like, ooh, let me jot this down. And then an hour later, he has another thought. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go back to that same story. Yep. We see you, Cameron. Good for you. All right. Evelyn. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's nothing that breaks our heart more than kids in our communities who are, having health issues and need that extra support. When I read about his condition, it was just so sad. But it sounds like there's a surgery that could offer a significant improvement in the quality of his life. So let's focus on the solutions and how that family can be assisted. Yep. Olivia, good morning to you, my darling. Vanessa Scott is in the house. Big smile. Miss Iva Hart is here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Miss Iva. She was cooking up a storm over the weekend. Did you guys see that? Oh my gosh. Wow. I was like drooling over her social media pictures. So much so I was like, Iva, hook me up, girl. And she gave me some of her cream of wheat cake. I have never made cream of wheat cake before, but it tastes so good that I'm really tempted to figure it out and make a batch one of these days. But it was absolutely delicious. Well, you guys know already, she's from East End, so, them East Enders, they got a special skill in the kitchen. Olivia, good morning to you. Miss Lucille says, please reach out to Miss Shalma. She's going through a rough time with her lovely husband. All right. Aw. Yeah, it is challenging for people to be the caregivers in families. And I think that, you don't know, I suppose, what you're going through what that's like, I should say, until you have to go through it yourself. So we will continue to keep Miss Shalma in our thoughts and prayers for sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Did you guys see this video? I think it went somewhat viral with these little kids at the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School Fun Fest, where they were giving a big shout out. We asked them to, well, they saw me and they're like, oh, you're the lady from Mall Road? And I was like, they always make me chuckle. And I said, yes. And they said, oh, miss, can we say hi to some people? Kids, you give them a mic and they really enjoy themselves. So I said, sure. And I was just so tickled pink by the one young man in particular who gave a big shout out to his mom. Ah, man, I was just like, that is so sweet. It really touched my heart. There's something about when boys love their mamas that really warms my heart. And he was just like, I want to say hi to my mom. And then later on, I saw him again. And he's like, on tomorrow's show, can you do a big shout out? And then he gave me her name, which I can't remember right now. Uh-oh. But I said, sure. And I did. I remembered it on the Monday. So I think that's amazing. I hope that he continues to always love his mama like that. Always look out for her. But they were the sweetest little boys. And then one of them was like talking about world peace and stuff. Did you guys see? Let me play this. Because I was like, what? These kids are so smart. Hold on. Let me show you this one. And, they were just so happy. Don't you love to see children just happy and carefree? Have a listen. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hi, everybody. And I want to tell you guys something. If my mom is watching this, hello, Chanel Ebanks.
There we go,
and
Chanel Ebanks.
I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Did you guys have a lot of fun today?
And I hope. And
stay right there. Okay. Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun today. And Mom, if you're seeing this, hi.
All right. What do you want to say?
All right. I just want to say, can we make it more normal to be kind to people? And because everybody, if everybody was kind, the world would have no problems, no war or anything.
Oh, that's so sweet. All right. How about you? You want to say hi?
Say God bless. God bless everyone.
Thank you so much. All right, guys.
God bless everyone.
Wait,
Thank
will
you.
be on Mile Road?
Of course.
Oh, that's so
Say hi to everybody at Mile Road. Hello.
Hi, everybody on my road.
Oh my goodness, they are just so adorable. He definitely wanted to reach out and say hi to his mama. And then the kid talking about world peace, that people are kinder. Isn't that sweet? I was like, oh my gosh. Right? Abby says, yes, be kind. It's free. Yes, Bobo. So adorable. I tell you. All right. While we wait on our guests, let's look at a few of the headline stories this morning. Cayman Airways has made an announcement that, unfortunately, for the people of Cuba, I guess, and where's Clint this morning? Clint is so misbehaving. But Clint said, ooh, a couple of them Caymanian guys going to be upset. But Cayman Airways is having to suspend flights to Havana. It's an unfortunate situation. The situation there in Cuba continues to deteriorate, but, Cayman Airways is a company, they're a government-owned company, and I think they've got to look at what makes sense in terms of the safety of their staff and not just safety, but whether or not they can operate at a level that Cayman Airways has had a very long-standing reputation for. And the crisis in Cuba continues to worsen. We have suspicions that the Trump administration may be making a move against the poor people of Cuba sooner rather than later. And I don't think any of us really want that. But the truth of the matter is, Cayman Airways, even if they can get fuel when they go there, there's so many other things that they need. It's not just about the fuel. And, there are ground handling services or other things that have to happen in order for them to operate efficiently. And what I'm understanding is day by day, the chances of getting those services is just really not available. Plus, the numbers have declined to a point where people are not even traveling into Cuba. So it hardly makes any sense to go there with an empty plane when you're facing all of these additional issues as well. So, yeah, no bueno. All right, so we will continue to monitor that situation, and hopefully we'll have some further details in the coming weeks, I would say. I'm not so sure that it's going to be a situation that will resolve itself very quickly, given what we know that is actually happening at the moment. Yeah, breaks my heart. Okay. So, obviously the story is up, and we'll keep you guys updated if that changes. They basically said that the revenue generated by the route has fallen well below the level required to cover the direct costs of operating the flight. Cargo volumes have also remained limited, meaning that making it no meaningful contribution to the route's overall performance. And the sad thing about it is my sources told me years ago that Cuba route was actually pretty good for Cayman Airways because, Cubans would travel back and forth between the U.S. and Cuba, and they would use that route to get there. And they were loaded when they went with all sorts of goods for their families that remained in Cuba. And so essentially, they were always paying excess baggage fees and, they found the money and they made it happen. So it's really, really unfortunate that now, because of circumstances, some imposed by another administration and the lack of fuel and other things happening, their situation has changed significantly. So, yeah, it's just unbelievable. So I'm so sad to hear about that, but it is what it is. And so all we can do is continue to hope for a better outcome for the people of Cuba, which some Caymanians still have, even to this day, very close connections to. Okay. All right. All All right. So let me also, let me just have a quick look here. Yeah, so that was one of the stories that was trending overnight. I think that went up late yesterday evening. Also, we have the Ministry of Health announcing that there is a confirmed case of Legionnaire's disease. I don't really know much about this disease, but when you hear about a disease that you hardly know anything about, you're kind of suspicious, like, oh boy, what is this all about? How contagious is it? What is it? So basically, they said that they've actually identified a confirmed case of Legionnaire's disease identified right here in the Cayman Islands. And at this time, there's no indication of any additional cases, and the risk to the general public is considered low. So the Honorable Minister of Health, Environment, and Sustainability, the Honorable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, said that she wanted to reassure, my apologies, the public that the relevant agencies are actively responding to this case and taking the necessary steps to investigate the source of exposure and protect the public. So apparently this is a form of pneumonia caused by a particular bacteria, and it can be found in certain water systems. An infection normally occurs when a person inhales small droplets of water containing the bacteria. There's no person-to-person spread, so that's always good. And most healthy individuals exposed to Legionella, which is the name of the bacteria, do not become ill. And those at high risk include, of course, the elderly, smokers, and people with chronic lung diseases or conditions, and individuals with weakened immune systems. So if you fall into any of those categories, obviously always take the necessary and extra precautions for your health. Public health and environmental health and healthcare officials are conducting a detailed investigation to try to find out exactly where the exposure may have happened. Interesting. All right. The case of the African gentleman, he's Ghanaian. Remember him associated, his wife worked at the HSA as a doctor. And we, CMR broke that case wide open. When was that? Was it a month or two ago now? Anyway, we told you guys, we were the first ones to report that we had an HSA doctor arrested for basically some sort of document fraud or immigration fraud or something. And so now we're finding out a little bit more information. Again, she was doing it for her husband, which is like, wow. Ooh, honey child, I'm not going to jail for anybody. Sorry. Call me selfish, but it ain't happening. No, sir. I ain't going to jail for myself, much less. Anyway, some of you are willing to make this level of sacrifice for other people. I'm not sure why, but this is an ongoing investigation into immigration and documentation fraud. And he has now been formally charged with illegal entry into the Cayman Islands and possessing a fake passport. His name is Freddie. Don't ask me to pronounce the rest of his name because it is ridiculous. It is Ofori. It's a hyphenated name. Ofori Agiyakumhini. That's as best as I can probably get. Ofori Agiyakumhini. Anyway, from Ghana, he appeared before the court for charges arising from his alleged entry into the Cayman Islands on the 16th of April. According to the charges, he's accused of entering on a forged, altered, or irregular passport, and he also charged with illegal entry into the jurisdiction on the same date. Third charge alleges that he knowingly uttered a false document, presenting it as genuine, and prosecutors claim that the document was purported to be a passport issued by the United Kingdom government. He is bold, honey child, and was used with intent to deceive officers of the Department of Customs and Border Control. And then the fourth charge is that he failed to answer questions truthfully posed by CBC officers during their inquiries. So let me just say this. Wow, this is bold in this day and age to be entering a country on a fake passport. Like, who does that? Well, apparently Freddie tried his hand at it. And who names their kid Freddie? Just out of curiosity. I mean, with that last name, you would have thought he would have had a traditional African name. I guess they were like, child, people are going to have a hard enough time pronouncing that last name. Let's just give you a American sounding first name. All right, Freddie. So we will continue to watch the situation. No word yet about what's happening with the wife. Silence on that. We do know that she was arrested. I think we should expect charges to be laid against her as well. Yeah, pretty wild. Don't come to the Cayman Islands with your fraudulent behavior, honey child, because let me tell you something. Our CBC officers are working overtime, and they have been doing an amazing job. Let me just acknowledge them, because I feel like what they do goes so underrepresented. So everything from catching individuals importing drugs into the jurisdiction, catching people with, thank you, Miss Gigi, catching people with ammunition and firearms trying to come in, and also all sorts of contraband, catching people who don't want to pay their duty and making sure that you guys are honest. You're making your necessary declarations and the works. And now, look at this, catching people with fake passports too. What a mess. So CBC, those fellas work really, really hard. Ladies and gentlemen work incredibly hard, and they do an amazing job that we should all be quite proud of, to be honest. All right. Miss Lucille said you need to give that young man a platform for himself. I was watching, and he had love to hold that mic. Oh, yeah. Yes, a lot of our young people really enjoy getting in front of a camera. But I always tell them that there's so much more to what we do than that. There's lots of moving parts in the background. There are, work that has to be done to even sit here and talk to people for 2 hours. Not as easy as people think, honey chill. So, but yes, who knows? He might have a future somewhere in social media creation or news. The world is certainly wide open to him in this day and age, and young people like him. Cayman Airways should have dropped that route from a year ago. No one has been going there from the U.S. sanctions started, especially with the ESTA. Well, Anthony, no Caymanians have been going, or they have certainly reduced it, but that doesn't mean that nobody was going. So like I said, the Cubans themselves used to use that route. And that's why that Sunday flight, I don't know if you ever come from Miami on a Sunday, but that Sunday flight was always late, in part because of the Cuban aspect of the route on Sundays. They kind of always made us late, to be honest. They were not necessarily the most punctual country to fly in and out of. But like I said, they really did a great job of like paying their fees. Like, I don't know how, because when I heard that from a trusted source, I was like, well, how the heck do they afford to pay all those fees? Because they're always loaded with extra bags. And they said, listen, all we can tell you is they never have just one or two pieces. They've taken back a lot of stuff back home, and yeah, they have their money to pay their fees. So I was like, well, honey child, allow them to keep using the route. So I think when the situation with Venezuela happened, it started to deteriorate definitely by that point, because the situation with the fuel especially became untenable. But then, like I said, it's not just the fuel. There are other things with ground handlers and other things that happen there that, they essentially have to know that those services are going to be reliably available. And yeah, if the numbers have decreased significantly, it just doesn't make any economic sense. And Cayman Airways is a business. By the way, speaking of Cayman Airways, Did you guys see that they added an extra day to the Panama schedule? So now you can go and spend a few days in Panama and come back on vacation. When they only do like once a week, it's difficult because you got to allocate an entire week of time. But if they're going twice a week, then woo-wee, that's exciting. So big shout out to Cayman Airways for that. I'm itching to go back to Panama. So I think that is in the very near future for me. It's been over. I went in what year are we in now? We're in 2026. Marlon and I went, I think in 2013. We went to Panama first and then we did Honduras the following year. But Panama is definitely on my return list. So, yeah, I think I need to go. And then they were actually still working on the extension to the Panama Canal. So I'd like to see the rest of it to kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, we spent half the time in the like rainforest area and then the other half in the city. And it was a relatively good trip. I did have a little stomach episode while I was there. Probably the worst that I've had that I can recall in a really, really long time. But, I have to be very careful, especially when I travel, sometimes what I decide to eat. And I think I made a bad choice when I went with the pork. Did not agree with me at all. So I try to stick with chicken dishes. But anyway, it's a beautiful country, and I definitely want to return again. All right, so let me just see. Oh, yes, Strong Wilt says, Auntie, this is so sad. My heart goes out to the Cuban people. Yeah, it's very sad. Very, very sad. All right, I see Colin has jumped in. We're waiting on one more person, I believe. So we'll give them a few more minutes, and then we're going to get started. Miss Dorothy, good morning. Thank you so much. Says, I'm praying for you. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Like I keep telling y'all, I'll take it. I'll take all the prayers and positive thoughts that I can get, honey child. I'm not going to be turning that down. No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Anthony also says, no one wants to risk visa refusals. Everyone is going to Panama. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. I'm surprised some people who still want to try to go to Cuba. I mean, the ESTA situation makes it so much easier for us to travel. And the problem, Anthony, they're not just turning down the ESTA, they are also potentially turning down, because, I know one lawyer, his ESTA was revoked. And then they turned around and told him, apply for a U.S. visa. And then the visa was turned down. So that's where you're taking your chance, because it's like, oh, my God. So he's had professional conferences and stuff in the U.S. that, unfortunately, because of his travels to Cuba, he has not been able to, to attend. So I don't know how long he now has to wait before they would consider giving him another visa. So the situation with the U.S. and a lot of countries around the world remains very, very interesting. Lots of people are just keeping an eye on it to see how it's going to play out. Right now, Jamaica looks like they're about to allow the U.S. to send non-Jamaicans there. I'm shocked by that discussion. I don't think a final decision has been made yet, but I'm surprised that they're even thinking about it. I'm like, what? You guys have a hard enough time sorting out your own stuff, Jamaica. Why are you getting involved in immigration matters for the U.S.? Only God knows. Makes zero sense to me. Ugh, no, sir. But the U.S. knows how to put undue pressure on especially small island nations, right? When they come and tell you, ooh, we're gonna start refusing some of your visas if you don't do certain things, I guess these countries get scared. I think y'all need to learn how to stand up for yourselves. American Airlines has been flying there for years now. They haven't been using Cayman in years to get to Cuba. So they're flying direct. Yeah, so sad. The possibility of Cayman Airways being hijacked by Cubans wanting to leave is also there. I don't think that's a major concern, Barbara. I mean, I've never heard that that's a major concern. I think the airport security probably remains very, very tight. Yeah, I don't think that's really where the concern is, to be honest. I mean, listen, we had Cubans here in Cayman trying to hijack they did hijack a Panamanian ship, and we did absolutely nothing there really, except give the ship back and probably paid a very hefty fine. So I don't think that's a concern. Miss Deborah, good morning. HSA again, says Irvelin. Buenos dias to Miss Alba. Oh, yes, I see a private message here. 1 second. My camera is not coming on. Try a little refresh there and see what happens with the camera. Sometimes something else is using it. I've seen that before. So like if you have anything else open, like Zoom or anything else that you've used recently, just make sure that all those apps are closed out and then just try to refresh it. That solves it normally for me. Tartarian, hi. I'm sure that there's more Freddies walking around in Cayman. It's just a matter of time, says Tartarian. What about the bigamy case, says Anthony. Ooh, honey child. Anthony, I got to tell you a story about this. So I actually know this couple. I know the young lady. I'm so sorry for her, Caymanian. And the guy, I've met him, just a few times. You see couples in passing. So when I saw the name, I thought to myself, that last name, there's not a whole lot of them in the Cayman Islands. So I was like, let me see if it's the same couple. So I made some inquiries, some preliminary inquiries, because when I saw Renee put up the story, and sure enough, it was like, yep, he dated her for years, married her, and had a child with her, and come to find out he was already married somewhere else. OMG. I was thinking to myself, boy, this is why sometimes when you hear people say you better stick with little Caymanian, I mean, I can see the logic in saying that at times, because at least you're going to know everything about their business, right? You're going to know what their granny did back in 1932, because your grandma and your mama could tell you, well, we heard. You got to take your chances, but you also have to perhaps do some investigation. But nobody wants to believe that someone that they're dating would carry out this level of a deception. Emerson Villalobos Lizama, he appeared in summary court on Tuesday, facing a charge of bigamy after allegedly going through a second marriage ceremony while still legally wed to his first wife. Wow. What a hot mess. So he got married in 2022, which that marriage is now void because it took place during the lifetime of his first wife. And the matter came to light after the second wife discovered that he was allegedly still married, filed for annulment of the second marriage. Of course, he's claiming or asking questions about the legality of the first marriage and whether or not it had gone through all the necessary stages to be considered legally binding. We're going to get some more details on this because I'm curious as to what jurisdiction. In fact, I want to know how she even found out. Right? Do you think the first wife told her? Oh, the stuff that happens here now, it's just like, wow. So lots to be told there. But yeah, she was married to him at least for a couple years, had a baby and everything. I mean, this is such a complex, I think, emotional situation that I don't know how I would feel about something like this. I mean, this is tough. Yeah, boy. Really sad. What would you do if you found out that your spouse is married to somebody else? Lord. I don't know. All right, we're waiting on one more, Colin. I think we might just get started and hope that they join us soon. Big shout out to Anne Marie, who recently sent me this a couple weeks ago from Amazon. So those of you, have children graduating, this is a graduation flag. So I think she was probably looking for one for her son, because I think her son is graduating from high school this year. And he's half Caymanian, half American. And so Amazon has a 2026 Cayman Islands flag and US flag graduation stole for the sash. This one is actually really, really nicely done. Some of them look kind of cheap, like they just sewed on the little coat of arms, at the local granny shop. But this one looks professionally done. I love it. So you can get these only $21.99. Favorite Amazon. So they tell you that the gown and hat are not included. This is just the stole. And look at how gorgeous that is. Absolutely beautiful. Check it out. If you're half American, half Caymanian, and you want to represent both sides equally, there you go. There are options. I love that our flags and stuff are so much easier to find now. All right. I think we're going to pull our guests in. If the others join us, fantastic. But we got other things planned for today on the show that we have got to get to, especially that spiraling Whitefly. So let's go ahead and kick off the discussions either way this morning. So we're going to be talking about the Department of Sports and their summer camps. So they have a whole list, and it's a lot. So that's why they are on the program today. They've got a whole list of summer camps lined up for you. And as far as I know, they're literally like all free. So, get the kids out there, get them involved in some healthy activities, because as they say, health is wealth. So we've got two individuals already in the studio with us. Let's go ahead and welcome Coach France. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Yes, very good. So this is France Manderson Jr., right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are a coach. What exactly do you coach? Is there a specific, are you more of an all-around coach, or is it a specific sport?
Basketball coach for right now.
Basketball. Okay. All right. Good stuff. And we also have Mr. Colin Anglin, who's joining us from the Cayman Islands Basketball Association. Colin is no stranger to the program. He has been on here just as recently as a few weeks ago. Good morning, Colin. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah, we're all doing good here. So you
Awesome.
guys are going to be very busy for the summer. This is a chance now for parents to get their kids involved in some good, wholesome physical activity. And I love this. So let's talk about what is planned for the summer. And let me see here now. We have both July and August camp schedules. And my goodness, you guys have a lot going on. From basketball to squash to lifeguard camp. I mean, this is fantastic. I love this.
Yeah, so I'm busy some.
Yeah. So let's talk about, of course, basketball is on the list as well. But let's talk about why the department is so keen to ensure that children have safe and health conscious activities to actually get involved in. And the department has put on a whole list, like I said, of activities.
I think it's just the fact that, like you said, all the camps are free. So asking a lot of the community to come outside and just be active and stay healthy, and just to be like the kid that you showed earlier, to just be kind to them.
Yep. And sorry, Coach Franz, were you done?
Oh yes, sir.
Okay, great. I just wanted to give a shout out to to the acting director of sports, Miss Melinda Montemayor, and to Coach Franz and the team. Coach Franz actually recently won Coach of the Year in the Under 16 Basketball League, by the way. So I want to
Oh,
give him a big shout out
nice.
on that. Yep, yep.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, these are just fantastic. I mean, obviously, I mean, as parents, you're thinking to yourself, my goodness, school is out. On one hand, well, I guess the kids and all that are like, yay. But as a parent, you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, how am I going to keep them busy? What am I going to do over the next couple of months? That in itself is a full-time job, right? So really grateful for the Department of Sports to be able to step in here and provide so many options, and it fits for for anyone who's having a rough time as well, fitting the budget in. But also don't mistake it. Don't think because it's free that that's going to be an impact on quality, because that's not the case. Great coaches there, great camps, and that's why there's a limited capacity. So people need to take action very quickly before that spot is gone, because they're definitely not going to be available for long. And not only are as a parent, we're happy to just be able to put our kids in a good, constructive, safe environment. But of course, for the kids, we know that this is a great opportunity for them to make new friends. I mean, we always talk about integration and being able to meet more people, building those social skills. So getting out of your comfort zone, instead of just going to the regular school and the regular classes and the regular friends that you have every day, and being able now to meet new people, seeing people you've never seen before, or maybe you've known them in a different capacity, but now you're in this space now where, you know what, okay, I got to get to know this person now, or you may be put in a team building exercise with that person. And so that's really, really healthy, emotionally and socially for the kids. And then with a lot of them too, they'll get to learn new skills. They get to try some different things out there. Some people may have a hidden talent that they did not realize before,
Yep.
simply because they hadn't tried something out. So on a number of different levels, it's really fantastic. And yeah, this is a really loaded schedule. I mean, it's incredible.
Yes. I
Yeah.
was surprised at how much you guys have managed to pack in. So let's talk about some of the details of the actual event. So in the month of July, we have from the 7th through the 10th, volleyball camp. And a lot of these are happening at different locations. So you've got to make sure that you pay attention to that as well. So as many as 50 kids can get signed up for that. And then we've got netball following that, water aerobics. I feel like I know the age, it says 16, but you can't make an exception.
I, I'm telling you, I want in on it too. Trust me. I want in on it too. I don't know.
I
We'll see.
mean, make an exception for 50-something-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. I agree. Mhm.
Oh my goodness. We've got Kareem Street Thompson in the house. Let's go ahead and pull Kareem on the screen here in just a second. Kareem, we were just going through the schedule of events, amazing schedule of events for the camp. But yes, we also have, of course, track. Elite is having a camp, and I'm thinking maybe that's the week. Oh no, 12 to 18. 12 to 18? Aw, I was gonna say my daughter needs to try out some track and field stuff, but she's not 12 yet, so she's gonna have to sit that one out. So there are some age limitations to some of the camp. It varies. Some accommodate some of the younger children, different age groups. For example, there's a junior lifeguard camp, which I think is amazing that we're having that. That is for ages 10 to 17. Then we have squash camp. Is that 8? Ooh, maybe I should make her try squash. Although I don't know, man, she's kind of afraid of those balls sometimes. We,
Sometimes, I mean, that's exactly what they need, because she may like it a lot more than she thinks that she would. And again, once you got some great coaches there, people that will assess the level of the child. And then if they realize, hey, you know what, they're just beginning, they're going to give them the appropriate drills and stuff like that are going to just get them comfortable with the basics of it. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. We got football, track and field beginners, tennis, boxing even. Wow. rugby, basketball camp, tennis table camp. So maybe for the kid who's less inclined, tennis table sounds like a lot of fun. That one is in the evenings. And then we have fitness and more. So let's bring in Kareem this morning. Morning, Kareem. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Good.
We're doing good. So good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Kareem, are you going to actually be on island helping out with some of the camps? Because a little birdie told me that you're coming back home. Here at CMR, we know everything that's going on, right?
Yes, I will be back home that the middle of July, 13th to the 17th, I believe, is
Nice.
when we're going to be uh, doing a track and field camp. My wife will be helping me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be trying to attack all the sprints, hurdles, and jumping events.
Okay. So that one is the beginners camp. Track beginners from 6 to
I
11.
yeah,
Yep.
yes,
All
I
right.
believe so. Yes.
All right, you might see me there because I'm thinking that's one I'm gonna sign my daughter up for to kind of see if she's really gonna be
Okay,
serious about the
good.
whole track and field thing. She kind of likes it at school, so we'll see. But listen, parents, it doesn't end in the month of July. There's also lots of stuff happening in August as well. So as we know, pretty much the kids get roughly almost 2 full months off, and you've got to find a lot to keep them busy. So August starts off with
Right.
Taekwondo, which I think is fantastic. Again, basketball for some of the older kids. Now, this is what I like, Colin. This basketball elite camp ages 15 to 30. So we have to remember that the youth goes up to I think 25 or 30, which is right. And so this has accommodations for adult groups as well. So that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about what people can expect, because I know, Colin, you're obviously very involved as president of the Cayman Islands Basketball Association. What will the basketball camps look like?
Well, let me segue to Coach Franz first, and I will chip
Okay.
in. I will chip in where
All
I can.
right.
Yeah.
Just so I've been told that the water events are for adults also. So
Oh, okay. I need to look at those again. Thank you.
There you go. Sign up. Make sure you sign up, Franklin.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna double check the age.
I'll see you
for
Mm-hmm.
there.
all for the one that's is in an elite camp for our senior athletes. So like all the athletes that do take part in our leagues, it's just for them to have an advanced training, not have to worry about any beginners. It'll be more advanced learning, more drills that go into depth to basically grow their skills, and just for them to not have to worry about kids coming around and slowing down the progress, slowing down the drills.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that me and Coach Red wanted to do, and just for them to actually have the competition there.
Mm-hmm.
And this fills also like a very important gap as well, because
Mm-hmm.
what you find, you're going to also find there are going to be athletes that are away at school, right, that are playing overseas. When they come back home, they need to continue honing their craft. I mean, even more so because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Kareem can tell you, the greatest athletes, that time off season where everybody is quote unquote trying to take a break, etc. I mean, that's when the really great athletes, that's what separates them from the rest, is that when everybody is, apparently taking a break or saying, let me take a break now, those athletes that really want to take it to the next level, that's when they really actually turn it up a notch
Mm-hmm.
even more. So
Yeah.
this fills a very important gap because a lot of those athletes are coming home, and then
Mm-hmm.
by that time, our local leagues are already finished because we're concentrating more now on international competition for the summer. So this provides a great opportunity now for them to really be able to zone in and focus and have some time specifically for them to develop. And then, after that, uh, you know, Coach Franz is also going to turn that into a bit of a league session coming out of that. So it's going to have an evaluation session. Players going to get evaluated. Then we're going to do like a very cool draft. Coaches going to get to draft players, and then they will actually go into a league. So that's a very it's a high level league for those specific athletes that are either getting ready to go off to school or that are currently away at school and are back for the summer.
This is fantastic. Yeah, no, this is great. And someone just mentioned that her son has taken advantage of these camps in the past, and they really, really enjoyed them. And they were pleased to see that the list of sports and activities has actually extended. So,
That,
again, this
that
is great. And
that
yes,
speaks to collaboration. You know, that really speaks to collaboration because obviously, you know, the Department of Sports has a certain staff complement that covers certain sports. But you know, it goes beyond that here too. You can see taekwondo. You can see a bunch of different things. So that really shows a great collaboration effort there on behalf of the department.
yeah, yeah. And let's speak a little bit, Coach France, to the private public sector, partnership that Colin is speaking with, because I know, for example, Ms. Laura Ribbons is involved from Fitness Connection, so I'm assuming that she's probably doing some of the water aerobic classes, which I was looking at it, and then I looked at the time. It's like right in the middle of the morning show, so we probably still can't do it. It'd be fun if we did a morning show on location one day, but anyway, so we've got fitness and more camps as well, but it looks like, as you rightfully said, the water aerobics is open age, so that looks like a lot of fun. So tell us who else you guys have collaborated with to pull off this amazing schedule of events.
I know, like you said, Seba, Mr. Collin has done an excellent job helping us meet him, whether it's just with equipment, with locations, officials. I can only really speak on basketball. I can't really speak of swimming or football. But Mr. Collin is always there for me whenever I need anything. He's always there to mentor me, or he'll just help me with anything that ideas off of him. He's always there. So yeah, again, shout out to Mr. Collin. And
Yes.
with this partnership that we're doing, that it's just for those athletes that it's strictly just for them. And also the up talent that we know that might be leaving here is aiming just for them to have the that high level basketball, and prepping our young Caymanians just to be ready for that when they're there. So it's a great event. Hopefully we have the Caymanians also to come. We will be launching our flyers soon with the location, multiple locations, and all the games are. So encouraging everybody to come out and just support the Cayman athletes, especially it's given a chance to over players, families to actually watch them play, because once you send your athlete away to school, it's hard for you to get, just go to their games. So it's given a chance for the mothers and fathers just to see their hard work through their children. So I'm just thankful Colin is here for me. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Fantastic. And speaking of this type of partnership, obviously, Kareem, that's how you and your wife, who are both coaches in the U.S. at the collegiate level, you're coming back now to, participate, to give back to the community, to share some of your extensive knowledge in the track and field arena. So tell us a little bit about how the partnership worked for you and your lovely wife as well, both coaches.
Yes, this is something that I've endeavored to do every single year. And sometimes it's worked, sometimes there've been conflicts, because the summer season is also recruiting season for us as well. This year there's a lot going on with the Commonwealth Games, CSC Games, Pan Am Track and Field Championships. There's a lot happening, but we found a window, and I reached out to the Department of Sports, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to come down and do a week." And we found a window to make it work. And I mean, I am always in favor of identifying talent, helping develop talent, and as recently seen at the NCAA championships, Cayman Islands is formidable. It's a force, and it's something that needs to continue to be developed. It's a I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what it is that we have, but it is special. And it might manifest itself in one or two individuals, but you have to start with a collective. You have to start at the grassroots level to make sure you grab these kids and you get them to understand what track and field is, because it's a sport where you have to love it. You have to love it to do it, right? At the highest level it hurts, right? So I'm always excited to see what the next up and coming athlete, what those athletes look like, and I'm always there on hand to make sure I lend my expertise. Jackie is an excellent motivator, excellent coach. It's something that we're looking forward to every year.
Yeah, I know this is great. And I was so pleased recently as well, Kareem, to see that you were able to be at the NCAA championship where two of our Cayman athletes or sprinters did amazingly well. Their performance was just fantastic. And, you were there to congratulate both of them on their performance. So this was a post that we had shared across our
Yes.
social media channels. So tell us a little bit while we've got you here. What was that moment like to see these two young men perform at the professional level that they're doing at the collegiate level, which is just, hats off to them and their coaches and their entire support team.
Absolutely. It's uh, a level of proudness that I can't measure, because the NCAA Track and Field Championships is considered one of the top five track and field meets in the world every single year. And and I've watched Jaden and Devontae, as freshmen come in, and it's a very unforgiving championships. One mistake and it's over. And for not one but both of them to finish in the top three, in top 3 and 4 in the 100 meters, and then for Jaden to come back and drop, and had never run a legal sub 20-second race in the 200. To see him run 1963, I was floating on air, because it's amazing. He has now changed his life. Both he and Devontae have now, their lives are going to be changed forever. But shout out to Tennessee, shout out to LSU for giving those two young men opportunities and for
Yep.
being patient with them. It's not easy coming from a small island and stepping into the ring. That's you anytime you as a sprinter decide to go into the SEC to be a sprinter, you are stepping into the biggest ring, and it's full of sharks, and you've got to swim in the deep water. And those
Yes.
two athletes, I commend them for going into that environment and flourishing. And it's something that has to be, we have to capitalize on this. The Olympics are coming up in 2028, and these two young men are poised. You have to start thinking about, for the first time, medaling. You have to start thinking
Yeah.
about what it would take for these two young men to make the final of the Olympics and have a chance to medal. It's a real thing.
Yep. Absolutely. It is amazing, and it has really put them as individual athletes, as you rightfully said, their universities, their respective universities, and the Cayman Islands on the map in a way that seldom happens. So all athletes,
Yes.
listen, it probably started out with them going to a summer camp. you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
Department of Sports is putting on
Yeah.
all these amazing camps. So
Yes.
get your kids out there, parents,
Absolutely.
this summer. Don't be afraid to get them to try something new. Registration is required because most of the camps have a cap on how many persons they can accommodate. So we want to encourage you to now start to look at the list. We'll post the list on our social media channels. Look at the list. Some of them are half-day camps. Some are a couple hours a day for the week-long period that they're having them for. But literally, there is something on this list for everyone. Doesn't matter what sports you like. Like I said, you may not even be all that inclined to, have your kids do a sport. Put them in table tennis, right? The acuity of being able to hit that small ball in table tennis is something that's good for them. They'll make lifetime friends. They will get to, as Colin rightfully said, get exposure to kids from all walks of life. And this is really important for them to develop into young adults, productive young adults, and to, just be good citizens. So I love that the department has really put on such an amazing complement of activities during the summer. And when we talk about how far we've come, these young men have come so far. Kareem Street started out, and so I'm going to do a throwback moment here, Kareem, just to remind everybody.
Uh-oh.
Look at this. Look at
Uh-oh.
this.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Can I tell
Oh
you?
no. Oh. Oh boy. There we go.
Oh
Oh,
man.
Kareem,
Oh
someone shared
gosh.
this with me almost 10 years
Yes.
ago, and I
Yes.
posted
Yes.
it on
Yes.
social media. And the funny thing is, I never knew, and this is just, Cayman is so small, but I never knew that
Yeah.
you and I would have known each other as kids.
Oh
Like, I
yeah.
didn't remember that at all.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even remember who shared this bit with me, but when someone shared it, I was like, who on earth? There we are,
Yeah.
kids back in the day.
Three. You were
Uh,
three. You were essentially three houses down from me. Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
wild. That is so
Yeah.
wild. And then
Yeah.
apparently, somebody else was telling me that even Ryan Haylock was also a neighbor, and so I would have known him as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, this is
Absolutely. Yeah.
where we've come from, folks. Georgetown kids walking around the neighborhood,
Barefoot.
kicking around
Barefoot.
barefoot, of course.
I
Some
think I think
very
I think I think Kareem has a buck too in that picture. I think I can see
Oh,
something.
I guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Playing football with a tennis ball in the street. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. But Sandra, I just wanted to share when we talked about the success of our two track and field athletes there.
Yes.
Just the same saying that it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing,
Yes.
right? They had to
Yeah.
start. They started here. They came through the programs.
Mm-hmm.
The government has a track and field facility that allowed the track clubs to play on. I mean, to train on. You have the
Mm-hmm.
track coaches
Hmm.
that were there to help develop those kids to a point where they could be eligible for scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
You had the parents who had to make sure they were bringing their kids there to practice and picking them up and doing whatever they had to do, to
Mm-hmm.
invest. You have people who are in the periphery, where you might not even realize, but people like Kareem that
Yeah.
are putting in a good word when you're not even noticing, because again, Kareem is
Mm-hmm.
he's an international icon, right? So he's recognized and commands so much respect around the world. I think a lot of people take that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have somebody like that who's also putting in that good word and doing what he can for our athletes, in his capacity where he is, no matter where he is, he's always trying to do something for our athletes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, too, getting them off to university, and then the coaches from
Mm-hmm.
there helping to take them to another level. So it's something that can be celebrated by everybody, because again, this is where it
One
started,
hundred
and
percent.
look at what we can celebrate now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So, folks,
Yeah.
I know you're listening and you're all excited now. You're like, okay, Auntie, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get the kids involved. So the next question is, how do you do that? So they've made it super easy at the department. There's a QR code right there. All you have to do is take your phone, scan the QR code, or if you need more information, you can email sports@gov.ky. 949-7082 is a telephone number. I would say try to email or scan the QR code to be able to do the registration and the sign up. This is a great opportunity. Again, the month of July. In August, the Department of Sports is putting on a number of really fantastic activities and events for young people and sometimes not even so young. For some of the swimming aerobics, they've got dance camp, football camps in West Bay, boxing, track and field, water aerobics, taekwondo. Like, it's just an amazing array of activities. So please get your children involved. These are some great things for the summer. And tell us just a little bit. We know, of course, the Department of Sports would have ensured that all of the coaches and all the people who have contact with your children have gone through child safeguarding, which is really, really important, training. So, France, can
Yes.
you just briefly speak to what was involved in that part of it as well, so that parents can feel comfortable to know that their children are in a safe environment?
Of course. So all coaches are um we have to do safeguarding, darkness to light. A lot of it certification just to be able to be around children and make sure that we know how to handle children. Uh, just anything. So, um, if something happens to the children, we know what to do. And shout out to DOS for doing that actually, because a lot of coaches know obviously how to deal with children, but when things happen, you might want to freeze up. So we do CPR training as well. So you know, I'm confident that I know how to deal with something when something happens. God forbid it happens, but if it does, I know what to do. So I'm thankful for DOS always for putting me in the position to be ready if something does happen. Like I said, God forbid.
Yeah,
That
Yep.
fantastic.
And the Department of Sports actually recently, it was just a few weeks ago, I believe, actually hosted a child protection and safeguarding training in which they had their staff all there, and then they invited all of the national associations and stuff like that too. So that's how I know, because I was also there with my team, and again, just grateful, thankful to the Department of Sports for putting on those opportunities and making sure that everybody's up to date with all aspects of child protection, right? Not just for the safe environment, but just knowing what to do if you notice that a child's behavior seems to be out of whack, just being observant, and then knowing the proper steps to take if something is just beyond that child's ability to play or doing those things. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And, good luck with all of your respective events and camps during the summer. And I'm
thank
sure you guys are going to have a real full house.
yes.
Thank you.
All
Thank you for
right.
having
Thanks
us.
very much. All righty. Take care.
Take care.
All right, folks. Kareem Street Thompson, Colin Anglin, and Coach France Manderson Jr., all part of the really big team of coaches and support teams for all of these camps that you guys see here. Again, scan the QR code, get your kids registered. It's a wonderful opportunity for our children to get out there during the summer and have a good time. Kids love this type of activity. They love to run around. They love to be outdoors, pry their little fingers off that game console. Trust me, they're going to have a lot of fun. All right, folks, we're going to move on to our next topic. And if you have any questions, again, we'll share that information on our social media pages so that you can have, in fact, I'm going to post them up here shortly so that you guys can have access to that. I've got some design skills these days that apparently is being envied by a lot of people. Let me show you something. 1 second. Let me just show you what I've done here. So I'll share these. So even my daughter's teacher was asking, ask your mom, how is she making these flyers and how's she doing this stuff? I showed you some of the ones that I'm doing for my own daughter for her, just her lessons and summarizing different little rules about the multiplication charts and all sorts of stuff. So here's my little redesign of the flyer here for the Department of Sports. I hope they don't mind. I took the liberty of taking their information and putting it together. So I'll share this on our social media channels. And yeah, super easy. Okay. So get signed up, honey child. Okay. Spiraling whitefly. Well, I think it was last week or the week before, I became aware that this was an issue here in the Cayman Islands. And big shout out, I forget who it was that called into the program, but you guys keep me on my toes. You keep me well informed. And so this was on the 8th, right? And today is what date? The 18th. Yes, 10 days ago. You guys said to me, this is something that has been happening in the community, and I was not aware of it. And so right away, we got on top of it and reached out to the ministry, which is Minister J, Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, and Infrastructure. Agriculture, this is the category now that this falls under. And so we were actually able to do a tour just a couple days ago to the Agriculture Department. And wow, I learned so much about this. Now, it has a scientific name, which I will not even attempt to pronounce, but let me give you a little bit of background information on the Raygoose spiraling whitefly. And then it's got a long scientific name. So apparently, this whitefly was discovered in Miami-Dade County, which is Florida, in 2009. And it was introduced, it's an endemic pest to Central America. And it was reported for the first time in Miami-Dade County in 2009. And since then, there have been escalating problems for homeowners, landscapers, businesses, government officials throughout the southern coast counties of Florida. So this pest looks for a host tree. We're going to get all the information here on this, but it feeds by getting on a host plant, and then it does excessive production of wax and honeydew. It creates an enormous nuisance in infested areas. And there are photos of where an infestation has really devastated crops, devastated trees, palm trees. They love a lot of different variety of trees. So we had the opportunity to speak with the department, the agriculture department, and it was fantastic what they were able to provide by way of information. We can see that when we look at the Florida map, for example, it does appear to be sort of concentrated in the more southern areas of Florida. So somehow it made it to Cayman, but all of like Palm Beach, St. Lucie, Miami-Dade, Broward, all in that area. And they have frequent reports from the coastal regions that it's a perfect and suitable climate, I guess, for this particular pest. And it just, seems to love the plants that we also love. So we're going to learn all about this fly. It was very, very interesting for me to sit down and speak to the experts about this little critter. Didn't know anything about it beforehand. So this was an eye-opening and learning experience for me. And of course, one of the things we really like to do here on CMR is to extend that information and that knowledge to you all as well. So have a look at that. Look at this plant. This is the potential that this pest has when it comes to the level of devastation, which is so unfortunate, right? Because then it does impact the crop production as well. So all over Florida, and I was kind of curious about how they thought it might have reached Cayman, and that was one of the questions that we asked that you'll see here in the interview. So it's a pest That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Let me show you this one as well. Hold on one quick second here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is what it looks like. It's hard to kind of see it, but there it is. Regrous spiraling whitefly. And then that's the long scientific name. Yeah. Yep, that's what it looks like. Real nuisance for such a small little thing. But we'll learn now in this interview. I want to do a big shout out to the ministry as well as the department for accommodating us and for really just, taking us out. We were able to look at it in real time, like sit down and have a look at this fly and the devastation that it causes. So please, folks, sit back and enjoy this interview, and big shout out to all the staff over at the Department of Agriculture. Here this morning, sitting down with Mr. Nash, who's the acting director for the Department of Agriculture.
Correct.
And we need to speak with him, as our listeners will be aware, sort of on an urgent basis, because there's something that's going on in the community that's impacting a lot of trees. And quite frankly, Mr. Nash, I was surprised that I had no clue that this was even happening. Mm-hmm. So it's whitefly. You're going to give us the proper name. What's the full name of what this is, first of all?
So it's the Rugus spiraling whitefly. That's the particular species we have the problem with, or the issue with.
Yes, and in a bit we're going to actually see what it looks like, because, that would be very, very helpful for our viewers. But tell us, what is this? Is it a fungus that's growing on trees, or what is it categorized as?
So it's an insect. It's a sucking insect.
Okay.
And what it does is, when it passes its waist, it forms a sooty mole. So there's a honeydew, and from the honeydew there's a sooty mole, which is the black spot that they're seeing and that the public would see on the plant, which they're associated to be the problem. But the cause is really the whitefly. So the sooty mole is a accompanying problem that comes with the insect.
Right. Okay. So the insect is the cause of the problem.
Yes.
And the sooty mole is the byproduct.
Correct.
Of the insect.
So the insect hides under the leaf of the plant, and then its droppings goes on the leaf below.
Okay.
And then after that, the honeydew that is passed, it attracts now the fungus to grow. So you're really seeing a fungal growth. So this causes the discoloration, which once you get rid of the whitefly, the discoloration will go.
I see. Okay. Well, this is wonderful that we can actually break this down. Now, tell me something. Again, we had one caller mention it, then all of a sudden there was a slew of phone calls and messages and people saying, yes, this is impacting me. Is this new to Cayman?
This particular strain, the species is new.
Okay.
The species is new. We have seen it run about January, little bit, then it multiplied. After efforts controlling it, we did laboratory tests and we confirmed it to be a species that is new to the Cayman Islands. We have not seen it.
Wow.
Yep.
So
but we have had whitefly issues before.
Yep. So how does a new species get introduced? Does it come in then and plants from elsewhere, or where does this fly come from?
We can't say how it made entry. What it appears that it doesn't have a natural biological control, hence the population has been spiraling. Yes.
Okay. And then there are other species of whitefly that have existed in the past?
Yes, but has not been a problem. So probably those have natural pests, predators, or parasitoids, we say.
Right.
That would control them, control the population, keep the population in check. But this particular one, so far, we're not seeing that.
Wow.
Yes.
So this is quite a unique situation then, you'd say?
Correct.
All right. So are we at the stage that we'd be calling it an outbreak, or how is the department categorizing it thus far?
We are calling it a high level of infestation.
Okay.
We are seeing it from Bordentown into Georgetown. Those are along that corridor we are seeing it so far. We are seeing it on different fruit tree crops and ornamentals. Mostly our coconut palms, we're seeing it on mangoes, guavas, etc. Yes.
So now I'm curious because I'm thinking about my little mango tree and I'm suspicious about potentially what's going on. Now, if I wanted someone to come out and look at my yard to see if I have an infestation, is that possible?
So that has been ongoing. Since April, we have had a hotline where persons call into the department. We have our agronomist and our plant protection officer along with the team. They provide that kind of advice and help persons to identify, is this the whitefly that I'm dealing with? We have had teams going out to treat. We have so far treated over 500 different properties.
Oh, wow.
So we have 2 teams of spray teams treating, doing mostly chemical treatment, providing a knockdown. We believe that this is best at present to provide initial knockdown and then provide other treatments. As you can imagine, along that corridor, a number of persons live there. So 500 might represent a small amount. However, in terms of call receive, would say that we have covered almost 45% of the calls received and inquiries.
Okay, we'll get that number here in just a second, the hotline number that people can call. Now, in your personal experience, I know you're acting director, but in your personal experience, have you dealt with a similar situation before where you've got an infestation that is new to, you know, the island, new to the area, and you're trying to effectively get it under control?
Yes, so Cayman have successfully dealt with infestations like this before. The pink mealybugs were a mix of chemical treatment with introducing natural biological control.
Right.
And we are free from the infestation to date. It's not a problem.
Right.
So this is not something new. We have the technical capacity here. We have the strategy we're working with, and this will become a thing of the past, hopefully very soon.
Okay. So at this stage, really, the primary focus is about educating people.
Educating people.
In terms of what they need to be looking for, how to go about reporting, and then your department is well equipped then to handle the actual treatment of it.
We're also empowering property owners to treat with the problem themselves.
Okay.
So we have procured a number of safe chemicals to use at the department, and once they call in, they'll be advised of an appropriate chemical to be used. They can come to our commercial store, and we have a range of different products. So if one is not there, they'll give you an alternative that you can use and advise you basically how to use it. In fact, follow the manufacturer's specification and you will be good in terms of how to use it, because not every property will have a high infestation.
Right.
Not so they will tell you basically what to use.
Okay. And how did you figure out so quickly what was most effective for the whitefly? What chemicals?
So it's a known insect that has been of economic importance to agriculture. So we know it's sucking and piercing. So it's going to pierce. So we can use a systemic. They'll ingest it. That's for a heavy treatment, a harsh treatment. There are milder treatments where we could use safer soap, where that would now basically suffocate the insect, so stuff like that. So based on the mode of how the insect eat, we know how to control. We apply the appropriate control. Yeah.
And the ultimate goal is to find something in the environment that would be a natural control for it. Yeah.
And so we have been having those discussions with our external partners, a university in Florida. We have also been talking to another international partner looking at finding, because at present we are not seeing the biological control here. And those talks are at an advanced stage, and we're looking to see how we can introduce those. However, we can't introduce those while we're applying chemical treatment.
Right.
Because of course we'll be killing what we're introducing.
Yeah.
So after we have brought down the levels to a manageable, acceptable level, then we can introduce those biological controls.
Okay. Very good. All right, so let's just give individuals, and this would be just regular homeowners can contact you, farmers, or farmers having a major issue as well, like people who have, larger scale farms?
We're not seeing the infestation within the Eastern District at the levels we are seeing going towards Georgetown.
Okay.
But commercial farmers would benefit from a routine spray program that we have at the department. So basically their farms would have received periodical spraying and would have not seen the type of outbreak we're seeing within homeowners, backyard gardens, that sort of a thing.
Okay, right. So let's go ahead and just give our listeners then the actual telephone number for them to reach out if they suspect or they know that they have an infestation.
Thank you. So that would be 1-345-947-3090, and they can email agriculture@gov.ky.
Okay. And is phoning the best method, or do you think emailing is the best method? They're both equally effective.
I would say email would be the best, because what we do, log all emails, and we have a spreadsheet where we log all the contacts, all the persons who call our email in, and to say what they're experiencing in summary, and their contact details.
Okay. And then what information should someone put in that email?
Basically, your name, your property, where it's located, and that you're suspecting that you have a whitefly infestation.
Okay. And for the location of the property, are you asking for a physical address, block and parcel? What does the agriculture department find most specific and useful?
Well, I wouldn't say you have to go in depth with block and parcel. Once you give a location, when we call to further investigate, you might not receive a call back immediately, because currently we're plotting a phase 2 approach to this control, where at that point in time, the information you provide will be very useful. Yes.
Okay. So name, location, and a contact number would also be helpful.
Yes, madam.
All right. So let's go ahead now, folks. We're going to go ahead and have a look outside. We'll look at what it looks like and get some further details from, as we know, more of the technical team who has to deal with this every day. And then we can find out a bit more about the chemicals as well that are being used to bring this pest, we're calling it a pest, yes?
Yes,
under control.
it is. Thank you.
All right, so we're making our way out to the field to kind of have a look. But you were just mentioning something very interesting. You can actually see the flies in
yes,
the...
so in the past, over the last few months, this when we would have said the infestation was very high, would have seen the flies basically pitching on you, especially towards the evening time. We have been seeing that. So clearly, the program is working, and also with the rains that we have been receiving, also have been increasing the population.
Very good.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, so what we're going to be doing is having our agronomist, person that is in the field day to day and has the technical competency not only to identify the plant but prescribe treatments in terms of the chemicals that we use, etc. So Miss Claudette Mackenzie Bowen is our manager for agronomy here at the department. Miss Claudette.
I feel like that should be the word of the day. Agronomist.
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 Yes.
All right. And so, Miss Claudette, good morning. Good morning. How are you? Tell us exactly what your job entails.
Good morning. Thanks for visiting at the DOA. My job at the DOA basically serves to relate with the farmers and manage the department crop production operations. We provide extension service to the farmers. That means we go out on farms, we observe, we scout the farms, identify whatever issues they're having, whether it is pest related, nutrition issues, irrigation, production, whatever the issues are. Kind of sort of like a plant doctor.
Yes.
Right. But aside from that, we do have an in-house or a resident plant protection officer who is more the person who deals specifically with the pest issues. Well, I tend to dabble into a bit of everything. So with the spiral whitefly situation, we recognize that they were flying around. It is not necessarily a new pest to the island. Well, this one is new, but we've had other spiral whiteflies before. But this one was getting out of hand, and so we were getting calls from persons, and then we started noting that they were flying around, which is quite unusual. So the population was really heavy. Then we started doing random checks across the districts, and that's how we realized that there was a population explosion of sorts. The decision was taken to do an intervention where we decided on specific pesticides to be used to do a population knockdown, because that is what the department would be able to manage with the resources that it has, because typically this is not a service that we would do. We cannot do house-to-house treatment, but we needed to intervene, and it has been working. Even for our coconut germplasm, which is this row of coconuts we have behind me, as you can see, the trees do look black, but I will show you on these branches.
So shall we start by maybe looking at what this looks like?
Okay, so what the whitefly looks like on the coconuts. This is what you typically see, right?
Yeah.
In the early stages, you would see more spiraling, like circular marks on the leaf. So like this one, this is a good example. But because of, you see it, if you can see it clearly, right, so that's what typically you would see in the early stages. But when the infestation gets really bad, it's just covered in white.
Oh wow.
Right, and so we still have some that maybe alive on this one, because we had treated. So this is the fly. This is an adult.
Let's see if we can zoom in and take a good look at what this little fella looks like.
So it's there.
Let's see. Hold on.
Let me see if I can get it to move for you.
See? Wow. And so they're flying insects, of course, and that's why they can get around so easily.
Yes. But also,
now now that you have it on your hands, do you need to be worried?
I'm not worried.
Okay.
Because I have no intentions of going on anybody's farm
and
today.
touching anything else.
Right. It's not my intention to go on any farms today. So
you'll just wash your hands properly.
I'll wash my hands and I'll spray down with alcohol.
Okay.
So alcohol is the DOA's perfume when we go in the field.
Okay.
So
that's rubbing alcohol, not drinking alcohol, folks.
Rubbing alcohol. Let me make it very clear. Rubbing alcohol.
Yes.
Yes. So we did that treatment on this, and so if you look at these branches on this one, you would not see them as much.
Okay.
But this one, sometimes it's
spraying. So it's white, and then it turns that kind of black. That's the mold. Then you're talking about as well.
No. The black stuff is only there. Is a black mold or fungus.
Yeah.
That is basically using the honeydew that's secreted by the whitefly in feeding. So when they're feeding, they're secreting sap from the plant, or honeydew, which is sticky and sweet. So the mold is actually using it as a food source. So even in this intervention, we are not applying fungicide, because once you get rid of the pest, then this will eventually dry up and it will wash off, and over time, or the new leaves will come out clean.
Okay.
So this is typically what it looks like on the plant. So it does affect the aesthetics of the environment. And nobody wants to see their plants looking black because it does look ugly.
Yeah.
It will also impact the production of the plants over time, because if all the leaves are covered in black sooty mold, then the plants cannot manufacture food properly.
I was going to ask if we were just talking about just aesthetics, but there's a practical reason why you need to get this under control.
Yes, it does affect production over time.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And we have, you said now this tree is starting to get additional limbs out that wouldn't be impacted.
Well, the coconut
The new
continue
growth to
to
the top.
grow from the top.
Okay.
So these leaves that are affected,
Eventually fall.
they will eventually fall.
Okay.
Right. So once we
Yeah.
keep up the treatment, which we'll have to do another treatment, it's fine. And because we were using the nuts for seeds, we can use conventional treatment, but we actually use the potassium salts to treat these plants. So it's a very soft pesticide.
Environmentally friendly.
Right, it's environmentally friendly. It won't affect your beneficial insects and so on. So that's what we used.
Okay.
But we are also using imidacloprid. Mr. Nash may have mentioned them in his.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some samples and talk more about the treatments as well.
Right.
So, and what types of trees? I mean, coconut trees, obviously we have a lot of those on island, but what other types of trees? Is it every tree that has the potential infestation, or does it prefer certain types?
Unfortunately, this spiral whitefly seems to like a wide cross section. But it loves coconuts, guavas, mangoes, avocados, pretty much just about most of the crops. We're not seeing a lot of it on the ornamentals so much, but more on the fruit trees. We're seeing a lot. Breadfruit.
And tell us, what are ornamental trees? Because trust me, if you don't have a green thumb, like
okay, what
myself,
we refer to as ornamentals would be more
like your house plants?
the house plants, flowering plants, green shrubs that you would plant around your property.
Okay.
But it pretty much loves all the food producing plants.
And that's not good when we're trying to encourage farming and...
No, we're not seeing so much, unlike peppers. We've seen the regular whiteflies on the peppers, but certainly your bananas and your fruit trees and those, you will see it on them more than the vegetable plants.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have a look at some of the pesticides or what the treatment models are now as well. Okay, so we're here with Mr. Nelson, who is the Department of Agriculture's Plant Protection Officer. Tell us a little bit, Mr. Nelson, about what your role entails here at the department.
My role entails diagnosis of pests as one, surveillance for pests of economic importance, and providing guidance to the agronomy department and also deputy director and director on the management of those pests, actions to be taken, also exploring emergency responses for situations as such. My role also involves looking at pesticide authorizations for importing to the country. So our job really explore a large gamut of things, but specifically to pest management.
Okay, so of course this whitefly now has been on your radar for a number of months. Yes, tell us, I guess from a biological perspective, what your observations have been about this particular species.
I should say that this whitefly is not the only whitefly found on the Cayman Islands, right? But this rugus spiraling whitefly is one which is polyphagous, means that it feeds on number of plant species. It's very prolific in terms of its reproduction. So the conditions here are actually favorable for them. And this is why when we noticed it was something that was, called our attention, because other whiteflies would not behave that way. And so this is why we had to take immediate action. Producing in excess of 300 eggs
Wow.
within its productive cycle, and eggs having a 90% viability. And each egg has the potential to become an adult if not managed. And they also have the potential of producing 300 eggs.
So the multiplier effect.
The multiplier effect.
Yeah.
And so when we noticed it, we did a preliminary identification and of course got third-party confirmation in the UK that it was that pest.
Yeah.
And of course,
Can you tell us a little bit about how that identification process works? Do you have to send a sample overseas in this day and age, or?
so there are two ways of doing this. Pests, insects, etc. are identified by common names and scientific names. In some cases, the scientific name has two parts, genus and species. Sometimes we are able to identify up to genus, or then genus and species. In our case, we were able to identify the common name,
Right.
and of course up to genus. Then we took sharp photos, sent it to our counterpart third-party lab in the UK. They said, this is what it looks like. However, send us a physical sample. And on the physical sample, they were able to do their different types of evaluation as entomologists and return with this confirmation of genus and species for that specific whitefly. It's important to know the detail because it then dictates how we manage the pest. So many times we will say, this is a whitefly.
Yes.
And some homeowners may see whiteflies on their peppers, their tomatoes, their maybe even orchids, and say, oh, I have whiteflies. Yes, you may have whiteflies, but it's not the same as the one that we have on the coconuts and the palms and the mangoes currently that we are doing this management for. Because this ruga spiral whitefly is a lot quicker. Its life cycle is anywhere between 45 to 60 days. From egg to adult.
And it starts over.
And starts over.
Yes, that's amazing. So once you got confirmation then, and you realized that this was a new species to the Cayman Islands, did you then start to reach out to any regional partners who may have had infestations? Are you aware of anybody else in the region?
We did. We did actually reach out to a number of our regional partners. Cayman Islands is part of a regional group called the Caribbean Plant Health Directors. And that is where all the plant health directors throughout the Caribbean share their knowledge, share their experiences, speak up their challenges, find approaches to address those challenges. And so we would have communicated this through our network and find ways of which they have been able to cope with it. But I should note that once, as terms of procedure, once a new pest or an organism is identified, it first has to go through the chain of command within the department and the ministry. And then we are given the okay to engage with external bodies. So we would have gotten that approval, then gone on and engage our regional partners. They would have flooded us with a host of information, but not all are adaptable to the Cayman Islands. So of course, within our technical group, we had to see which is most practical and most feasible for the Cayman Islands.
Okay. All right. So lots of research and background sort of detailing has gone into where you are now today to try to effectively manage
it.
The pests, right? And we're going to talk about the management. So obviously, once you've identified that was a key bit of information necessary to then consider what management would be appropriate, tell us what sort of protocols have you undertaken to try to get this under control?
One of the first things that we would have done after deciding on what route we were going to take would be to engage with the general public. of course, and I think Mr. Nash should have maybe addressed that earlier on. Engage with the general public, see what the challenges are, right? Do further surveys to see how expansive the infestation is. Of course, set the marketing locations where the pest was found, or the last place that pest was found, and of course, tend to protect that. So we would have engaged in doing the treatments that Mr. Nash and Ms. Claudette would have mentioned earlier on, but then we would be doing that according to our process of ensuring that it does not spread into further into the agricultural zones, etc. Because most of the pests would have been in more residential areas than, of course, in the big farming areas. And so one of the things was to actually protect that, control what is in the residential areas, but protect it from actually getting into the farms as well, because it is a pest of economic importance.
Right.
Meaning that it will affect the plant to a point where the yield will decrease. And so not only we were ensuring that our residential areas are covered, but also looking at the ensuring that the farms are protected. Yes.
Were you surprised when you found out, as someone who I suppose has been in the field for many, many years, were you a bit surprised when you found out that we had a new species in our hands?
No.
No. Yeah.
It always catches you off guard.
Yeah.
Yes. But the fact is, although we are on an island, we are not an island. It's
Things
global.
get in and
It's a
out.
global
Yeah.
space, and so we have trade happening. We have individuals visiting as tourists. We have hurricane winds. We have tropical storms, which those insects can actually travel on.
Oh, wow.
And so when you see something for the first time, and of course I should have mentioned that we do have a list which is called our national pest list. Every pest that is identified on the island is logged into this list, which allows us to build strategic approaches to support the farmers, support our homeowners, etc. So when the final identification came back, we checked our pest list. It was not present. Means that if it's not on the pest list, then it was not intercepted before. And surprised, I wouldn't say I was surprised, but of course it did trigger the means for emergency response. And this is the case on many islands.
Yeah.
Right? Trade happens, tourism happens, visitors come in, persons may choose to, I love this plant, I need to get this, right? Hurricanes do happen, and remember, last 2 years we had a few tropical storm winds coming in, etc. So these are all pathways of which new pests can be introduced. Some of them we can't control,
Yes.
the winds, etc. But of course, if it's brought in by a human being, then advocacy, communication, encouraging the persons to do the correct thing.
Right.
Because there are mechanisms within the Department of Agriculture that allows for the safe movement of agricultural or plant material and animal material. And so we encourage the general public to, follow those protocols. It is not a restrictive measure. It is a measure that allows you to do things safely. So it's not no. It's yes with recommendations. Follow the recommendations, follow the guidelines, then we all will be safe.
All right, wonderful. So protective measure, that's why we see them at the border control points, airports, and ports of entry.
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to have a look. I think we have a sample of the treatment, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the actual treatment as well.
Okay, so as you see that there on the underside of the banana leaves, And for most homeowners, it's one of the hardest areas to control. But persons have asked in the past, how can they get rid of it? Because when you spray, typically, if you look at how the foliage is, when you spray, it's on top, and that is why we have had to incorporate a systemic insecticide, which will work through the plant. So when they suck on the sap, they will take it up and it will kill them. In addition to that, persons who have like 1 or 2 banana trees in the yard that's not too tall, they can open the leaves like this and use a heavy stream of water to hose them off. It disrupts the life cycle.
Okay.
It disrupts them from settling, and you will see them disappear over time.
Oh.
Because as you can see, if you spray here with a contact insecticide, it's not going to touch them because they're covered with fluff. Mr. Nelson would have explained that. So that is why we would tell some persons, if they have short trees that are experiencing it, and some persons don't want to use pesticide, they can use a heavy stream of water to keep disrupting them and preventing them from settling.
Right. Okay. So effectively washing them off is on a smaller scale can help.
It can help.
Yeah.
It can help. But, if you have a lot of trees, then it's not the most practical solution. I wash them off at home because I have 1 banana mat, 1 little cluster here. So on mornings, if I go out and water, and I'll hose it down, and I find that they are no longer there. But if you're not continuously doing it, then over time they will settle again. But for those who don't necessarily want to, in addition to that, they can purchase like safer soap at the other stores that sells stuff. A.L. Thompson has a Natura safer soap, which is the same thing as the MP that we're using, which you'll see when you go to take a look at the pesticide.
Okay. All right, wonderful. All right, so we're going to move on now to have a look at the pesticides that are actually being utilized. All right, so tell us, where are we now? There's this little room here. What is this room?
This is our agronomy section.
Okay.
Yes, so our manager of agronomy and their team operates from out here. This is their main office, and there are the sections that are connected, units that are connected to here. Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have a look at some of the pesticides that are being used. And I noticed we're talking about these specifically, but you talked about different types of pesticides and some that are more friendly to the environment. So these are considered relatively friendly pesticides?
Yeah, for example, your MPED, it's good for organic production. So it's basically safer soaps. It's as you see, the active ingredient, it's potassium salts or fatty acids. So this is what we have been using so far in our approach. This is for like our systemic insecticide. So as I told you that the mode of the insect, they'll pierce and suck. So this is a systemic insecticide that would, for heavy infestation. And then this also is another safe, environmental friendly pesticide. We have other chemicals that we use, but these we have been using. So I just want to address the fact that we do not have an absence of chemicals. We have a supply, a wide range of chemicals that we have been using. In case you are coming for a particular chemical and you don't have that, you can ask our cashier to liaise with our agronomy team. They will give you a range. In fact, in our point of sale system, there are alternatives to each products that we sell, that you can get a different product with the same efficacy, etc. Yes.
All right, so your team has that information
Yes, madam.
readily available.
Yes.
Now, these people can treat their own plants with? Would you recommend that? Or, so they purchase this and then they treat it themselves?
They can, as long as they have the PPE and all of that. They can go ahead. What we're trying to do is not to take on all of the duty to spray, but empowering the owners, the residents, to say you can buy the chemicals, they're affordable. That's one thing the government has made available, heavily subsidized. You can purchase it and you can go and apply it based on the manufacturer specification.
Okay,
Yes.
so now are you guys the only entity and island that has these chemicals available? So they should come to agriculture, or can they be purchased elsewhere?
No, we're not the only entity.
Yeah.
I am sure that these are sold at Hale Thompson's. I was there on Saturday. I saw Protect. Even if they don't have this particular brand MP, they do sell potassium salts of fatty acids in the form of either safer soap, or they have a Natura brand safer soap, which is the same active ingredient that's in that product.
Right. And how does the soap work? Is it like a liquid soap that then you spray
It
on?
is liquid and it's diluted. It's concentrated, so it's mixed
Okay.
according to a particular rate based on infestation levels. So we do have some persons who are maybe recovering from cancer, and some of them make it known. And so we tend to look for the softer chemicals to use for them. And also because whiteflies and other insects develop resistance quite easily. So we need to have something other than an imidacloprid that we're using, because we don't want them to build up resistance. And we're not the only ones that are spraying, because the pest control companies are also doing some of the work, and we applaud them for coming on board, because the department could not do it in its entirety. So these are some of what we are using. Not every day that a customer will walk into the warehouse, they will necessarily have all three. And maybe because of pricing, because it doesn't matter what the price is, somebody will say it's expensive, and we get that. There are other options that can be utilized as well. So it's just a matter of, if they're not getting any of these three at the warehouse, they can just ask the sales clerk or whoever is there to give us a call, and we can advise on something else as well.
Right.
I just want to put in a plug as well that we have been meeting with our stakeholders, the pest control operators and landscapers, and we have been advising on correct treatments, etc. For example, if they go into a yard, there's a heavy infestation and you have to cut back prune, don't throw those away and spray them. They should be sprayed before you do the cutback, so at least we manage because you'll just be transferring the insect elsewhere and the problem elsewhere. So we have been having those stakeholder consultation.
That's important to know. Yes. All right. Very good. So we feel like we're getting there in terms of the management.
We are. This is a phase one. There is a phase two that's been crafted, which we can't speak to in an entity at present. But we believe with those strategies, we'll be able to cauterize the problem and bring it to manageable levels.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So this, folks, is really just part of the public education process.
Yes, ma'am.
And again, a lot of I had no idea this was even happening, but my audience was more up to par on this issue than me, which is fantastic, because they alerted me that this was a concern, at least in some areas of the community. So I think this interview has been extremely useful. Thank you so much to the Department of Agriculture and obviously the ministry for organizing this. And folks, if you have an infestation, hopefully the pictures that we've shown in the footage will give you an idea of what it is that you're looking for. But if you're not sure, the department, I'm sure, can assist in identifying it and then trying to get it under control as best as possible. So the phone number, which we had earlier, we'll put back on the screen now for listeners and viewers to jot that down. Call the department if you need them, or email being the best method if you need them to come out and have a look at your plants. Okay, so this is just the latest and what must be another exciting day here for the department.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Sandy. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.